Welcome to TechX 2023, HKN's premier technical conference, and our session on career opportunities for students in quantum communications and quantum information. We have an amazing panel collected here for today of PhD students who are going to talk about the pathways and careers in quantum technologies. They're undergraduates and PhD candidates from around the world. And they're going to talk about both formal and informal opportunities to build the skills and the learning opportunities that you'll need to go into interesting projects and to enter this amazing opportunities that are going to be around quantum computing. So I think I'm going to go ahead and introduce the 2023 president, Sampath, HKN president, and he's going to introduce our panelists or bring us into the session. Welcome, Sam.
Thank you, Nancy. Fantastic. I think we are quite excited to have this important topic. As you can see that the theme of our conference is emerging technologies. So this is a great session to start with, and we are very excited to see you all. We have Samay Sharma, Leah in Maria, and we are also expecting a few more folks to join shortly. But first of all, on behalf of IEEE-HKN, I would like to welcome you all. And then, I would wanted to quickly go around the table, requesting the panelists to do a quick introduction. Let's start with Ms. Leah.
Hello. Hi, thank you for the introduction. I'm currently a PhD student at the University of Oxford in the Computer Science Department, researching quantum computing. And I also work part-time at Continuum's Oxford branch as a research engineer. So I guess that is the largest quantum computing company on the planet. So I'm really excited for this panel and looking forward to all your questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Leah. I appreciate you joining us. Next, we'll go to Dr. Samay Sharma. Hey, Samay, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Sampath. Hi, everyone. My name is Samanvay. I am currently a graduate student at KU University, Shonan Fujisawa campus. I am working on quantum algorithms, and I'm also a huge advocate for quantum education and community development.
Fantastic.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. And finally, we have Ms. Maria with us. Maria, can you please go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. So I'm Maria. I'm an undergraduate physics student at the University of Bath. And in the past, I've worked in Cisco's quantum networking research and development team. I've also held other positions in industry. I'm going to be one of IBM's quantum interns next summer. And I'm also very active in the quantum open source community. So that's a little bit of my background in quantum.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria. So I think we'll get to the technical aspect of this later, but then this quantum physics topic is a very hot topic. This is more happening, right? So you are all showing a breadth and width of this field, from working on algorithmic industrial solutions, and advanced optimization solution to internships. So as you know, this program is primarily centered to benefit students and young professionals. So my question to you is, if I'm an HKN student, if I want to, get started on quantum, what are some of the resources that's available? What motivated you guys? So maybe your personal journey will be helpful for our members to get benefited. So I'm going to pose this question to all three of you, because you all coming from different backgrounds and doing a lot of great things in this field. So we'll start with Ms. Maria. Maybe if you wanted to go talk about your journey in the quantum field, what motivated you, and if I'm a student, how do I look for internship opportunity? That will be great.
Yeah, of course. So it is, I think it's well known to anybody who has tried to join the quantum field as an undergraduate that the number of opportunities feels sometimes limited. And there's not always that many opportunities that allow you to enter the field as an undergraduate. Things get easier as you pass into master's levels and PhD levels, but it is truly very limited at the undergraduate level. So the way I entered the field was almost by mistake. I started at Cisco as a data scientist, so my role had absolutely nothing to do with quantum, but within the company they had this great program in which you were allowed to spend certain hours of your day or certain hours of your week working in another role, and that's how I started participating with the research and development teams in Cisco in the UK, and that's how I ended up working with a quantum team, and slowly my responsibilities within that team grew and grew until we actually created a position that is now still being filled by undergraduates. So it was a very, very different path to the normal paths in which people join quantum, but nonetheless, it is a possible one. You can enter a company through a completely different role and ask to participate in their quantum research. And honestly, if you're working for a very big company, that's probably possible and you may be able to make it happen. But otherwise, if I had to do this again, if I had to start again, I would say that the easiest way for undergraduates to actually begin working in this field is probably through open source. There's so many opportunities and so many hackathons that are run every single year on so many topics. You can look at quantum hardware, you can look at different types of software, you can even look at error correction. And at least for me, they were a great way of building my skills after I finished my initial role. And from that role onwards, they were the way in which I was able to apply to other internships and continue my career through quantum, because they just gave me the opportunity to build all the necessary skills that I might have otherwise not been able to build in my degree.
Okay, great. So I think now we also have Hervoj, who is the actual moderator. I chimed in his shoes to help us through. Welcome to the panel, Hervoj. Like you can unmute yourself if you can hear us. We just kickstarted with the first set of questions to get the experience of the panelists, what they are working on, how that's very relevant to the the HKN audience. So can you hear us? And if you're able to unmute, you can quickly introduce yourself as well, and then I can give back the mantle back to you. How much we can't hear you? Just quickly checking here. Okay, I think we don't have audio on your side, Hervoj. Can you just try connecting back while I will continue with a set of questions and hold the fort for you as you come back, okay? So I'm going to now go back to Dr. Leah. Leah, you touched upon very important points, your industrial background, so if I'm a young professional, right, and I wanted to actually pursue a career here, what are some of the key advice that you will give for our young professionals who are early in their career, especially in this very, very important topic, which is going to be key for the next, decade or even more than that, So what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'd have to start. So as Maria had just discussed, there's at the beginning, like kind of in the early stage of career, even undergraduate level, there's just not as many learning opportunities that are more official or easier to find. And that's comes with the territory of quantum is a really new technology. So it will take many years, like several years for most universities, for example, maybe a decade or so at least for a larger number of universities to just have quantum computing courses. So because setting up new courses takes time. And so it may feel at the beginning that trying to learn, just trying to self-learn, maybe find your interests is quite, there's lots of exploration involved because one thing that I think maybe the first piece of advice I would give is that quantum science and engineering is one of the most interdisciplinary fields. So you can actually get two professionals who work both are really good at what they do in quantum and experts, but they wouldn't be able to hold much of a conversation with each other if, say, one of them worked on I don't know, like complexity theory, and then the other one worked on just hardware chip design kind of thing. Just those are just examples, but you can get lots of skills that are needed across the intersections of different disciplines all across all of quantum. So it's really quite exciting and really eye-opening all the time to just see what people are doing that's new all the time. So that would be my advice, is just at the beginning, explore. And then once you find your interest, you can also find a group of people you can learn together with. Definitely don't be afraid to reach out to people who are doing what you're interested in doing to see if you can have a chat with them. I find people to be very friendly.
Awesome. That's a great answer. Thank you, Dr. Leah. And you pointed out a very, very important aspect, right? To be successful in a career, what is important for folks early in their career is to actually look at different aspects of problem they could solve within the domain, right? And most importantly, you brought out that don't confine yourself to a single aspect of problem solving. Look at the multi-interdisciplinary options or possibilities that is available. That's a very, very important call out, and thanks to you for that on that. And now we come to Samanvay Sharma. Samanvay, I'm more curious, like you work on this advanced algorithms for on the quantum side of things. So I wanted to ask you, about your passion, your journey. What motivated you to start this path specifically? And also, if I'm a student that I would like to focus on doing my master's or PhD, where do I get started? Is there are some resources that's available online that you could guide people on?
Thanks. First, I just want to confirm my videos and video and audio is okay,
Yes.
right? Okay, good.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, the answer to this is kind of gonna be referencing a lot to both Leah and Maria's answers, because I think they, in the very short descriptions they gave about their own experiences, I think that covers almost everything about how to get started. So I'm sure they share the same thing as well, but my journey was also starting off with open source access and with a lot of open source resources, and with finding online communities, because especially in the past couple of years with COVID affecting every aspect of education as well, it was just imperative for a lot of educational resources and a lot of community-based resources to go online and open source. But that has, in my opinion, really helped quantum computing to become really accessible and reach a lot of people very quickly. So my journey was also very similar, and I feel like most people in the quantum community today, especially if they're students, would share a similar opinion, is that this is pretty much the best time to get into quantum, because for one, there are so many well-developed open access resources that people can reference, and it's not just one or two, but you actually have a choice on the different kinds of software and hardware stacks that you can decide to learn about, or if there's, and what I would really suggest to look out for is, like Leah pointed out, it's a very interdisciplinary field, right? And no one person starts their journey from quantum itself, like they're coming from either physics or chemistry or math or somewhere. And I think it's best to figure out how quantum can benefit the applications or the interest that you have, and how it connects to your own passions and your own skill set. And I feel like that's the best way to figure out what's missing in your remaining toolkit to grow as a developer, as a physicist, or whatever you're aiming towards in this career path.
Fantastic.
And that's been my experience as well. So I have a computer science background, and I also wanted to look at different hardware stacks and different algorithms that I could learn about, and so that has helped me to just learn a lot by looking at the awesome work that people are doing online.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That's a very, very a wonderful response to hear from you, especially the call out on open access, which is actually becoming a game changer right now. I mean, 20 years back, if you go and say, I want to specialize on certain fields, you either have to attend a top university or somewhere where the courses are offered. And then from the industry front, sometimes it's a proprietary, you can't even go and talk, or you attend a few conferences. But now with the advent of AI and everything, like, you pretty much get access to, the latest happening, and you can find mentors, you can attend conferences, conduct workshops, so very great college on that from you. So I appreciate that. I'm going to quickly try again with Harvard. Are you able to hear us? Can you try once again?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, Eureka, we solved the problem. Yes.
Perfect, yeah.
Welcome to the panel again. A quick introduction, then I will give the mantle to you to take it over from here.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I apologize for these technical issues. So my name is Hrvoje Kukina. I come from Croatia. I'm a PhD candidate in Vienna at TU Wien, and I'm also a research collaborator at University of Cambridge, and I work on my PhD thesis at Oxford. And my PhD thesis is basically quantum AI. So that's about me in a couple of sentences. And now it's my pleasure to be the moderator for this session on career opportunities for students in quantum communication and quantum information. So I would like to thank each and every one of you for your willingness to be the part of today's discussion. So let's begin with the first question for all three of you. So can you talk a bit about your quantum-related work experience while being a student at the same time? Yeah, so Leah, please go ahead.
Was your question about being students at the same time as...
Yes, so can you talk a bit about your quantum-related work experience while being a student at the same time?
I see. That actually has been... I've actually had multiple opportunities to work part-time while being a student. So this would be quite a long answer if I went through all of them. But I would say, broadly speaking, the first time I ever got to research or do just work in quantum was a summer internship program when I was an undergraduate. At the time, I was researching actually mainly physical chemistry, and then I applied to and started interning there's a summer program that also was at Princeton University and IBM to research quantum computing. And that was my first time getting exposure to what it's like to work in quantum computing. And that was really eye-opening. So after that, I've did a few part-time working in quantum education. For example, I taught as a TA for Qubit by Qubit, which is the year-long course by the Coding School nonprofit, where Sam works now. And also, I interned part-time for a year at IBM Quantum Education, working on just making learning materials for introductory quantum computing. So I've had quite a broad range of different experiences, but each of them has been extremely positive. And it really broadens my worldview. I like that I'm able to get a taste of what it's like in industry while being a student, and I highly encourage it. Think it was a really good learning experience for me.
Thank you, Leah. Maria, can you share your experience?
Yes, of course. So my first experience with quantum computing was during a year-long placement. So at my university, as a part of my physics degree, one of the things that we're allowed to do is to take a year out to just work, and we're given credits for that. So that's how, that's the time in which I started working in Cisco's research and development quantum networking team, and I absolutely loved it there. It was easily one of the first times in which I really, really fell in love with my degree, because obviously the start of my degree had been really affected by the pandemic, and as any student might know, studying in person and studying online isn't the same thing, especially when you're looking at subjects like physics or computer science that you need to be really passionate about to do well in. So after 2 years of really being affected by COVID, I took that year out to work in industry because I just wanted to have that experience, and I ended up absolutely falling in love for the field of quantum computing and really becoming very, very interested in it. So as I came back to university, what I did is continue working in that field, but in a lesser manner. So for example, I've had some consulting opportunities. I've been able to develop some code for certain startups or write articles for certain companies that talk about quantum computing and try to promote it to different people. So that might be people that work in finance, or that might be other students. So those types of opportunities have been, at least for me, some of the biggest ways to participate in quantum as a student. And they've been really flexible in terms of the part-time opportunities that I've had. And then later on, obviously, there's always summer internships. So I've got a summer internship with IBM coming on, and I feel like that's probably some of the most usual and easy paths to take for students to continue working on quantum. But it is true that, at least from an undergraduate perspective, it is really a race sometimes to get to the opportunities. But hopefully, as the field grows and as more and more companies start to do very well in quantum computing, more opportunities like these will start showing up for undergraduate students, and the field will open up more and more for them.
Perfect. Thank you, Maria, for sharing your experience. Sam, can we hear your opinion?
Sure thing. Yeah. I'd like to quickly bounce off of Maria's point, is where I too feel it's important that there are more opportunities for especially undergraduates and students at an early level to have access to opportunities and work opportunities in quantum. And a lot of that also would come from, I guess, growth in quantum education, which both, I guess all of us in some capacity are working really hard to contribute towards. And a quick shout out to another IEEE event that we're going to be working on soon is, so we have a conference on quantum education, where we're inviting all educators and people interested in quantum education to share their pedagogical strategies, any activities they have done, any programs they have designed, or if they have just if they have any points to discuss and share with the rest of the community. This conference is going to take place with IEEE Quantum Week later in September. So just a quick shout out to all educators out there and people interested in quantum education. If you want to learn more about that or talk more about that, please be sure to check it out. But yeah, I think all of us on the panel also share a common thing here, is that we all intern or are going to intern for IBM Quantum at some point. So my first work opportunity was also with IBM Quantum, where I worked with the community team, and a lot of the early challenges, initiatives, events that were created. I was also part of those teams where I got to learn a lot behind the scenes, see how open source materials are created firsthand, and really get to understand why open source community development and education is important for this field. Simultaneously, I also started a master's at Keio University in Japan, where I got to work with Professor Rod Van Meter's group on quantum communications and quantum algorithms. And that's also what I'm currently working on. And I'm also doing a part-time with Qubit by Qubit, which is a quantum education nonprofit. And that's something I also do on the side.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing. Leah, question for you. So you were IBM Quantum Education and Community intern. What was that experience like for you?
It was during COVID, so it was all online. And despite that, I felt that the people I worked with while at IBM Quantum Education was, they were really passionate about what we were doing. So specifically, it was really good fit because it was researching, my research topic in my PhD and part of my work at Quantinuum Oxford Ranch is drawing diagrams to teach quantum computing. So it makes it more intuitive. And actually, there's a recent book from a month ago that's about how to learn quantum computing just through pictures and diagrams. So the whole textbook, about 200 pages, doesn't have, I don't think it has any matrices in the whole book, which is the way it's conventionally taught to younger ages. So that was really eye-opening to take some research topics, something that I learned a lot about and was, I guess, contributing to, but also think about how to use it for what I'm quite passionate about, which is education. So I hope that the review, the tutorial that I made when interning part-time at IBM Quantum Education will be online and free for anyone to read soon. So, but I'm still working on it because I'm a perfectionist, but let's see, let's hope.
Cool, thank you. Question for Maria. Maria, you work as GitHub campus expert. Can you tell us more about that position?
Yes. So GitHub has this wonderful program in which it allows student leaders to basically, well, it doesn't allow, but it kind of enables student leaders to have the tools to build communities within their universities. So obviously quantum computing is quite new. And again, as I keep mentioning it again, it is very, very new and very, very rare for undergraduate students to hear or get opportunities in the field. So given the big chance that I had to have these opportunities and to learn about this field, I kind of wanted to promote quantum computing within my university. So I applied and got the GitHub campus expert position. And with that position, what I'm trying to do is to promote the field. So this year, a few months ago, actually, we ran a quantum hackathon with the university, which was probably the first place for quite a lot of students internally in which they had the actual opportunity to actually solve a problem using quantum code and to see what quantum software was. And that was, for a lot of them, quite a big cultural shock, because most of the students who participated in this hackathon, they were either computer science students or they were physics students. And they all had the knowledge on how to code and maybe had an understanding of quantum physics or quantum mechanics, but they had never actually seen a quantum gate. They didn't know what a quantum gate was. They had absolutely no idea what type of probabilities we were working with or what a quantum computer in itself was. So we had the opportunity to bring in experts from the field that were researchers, that were working in open source, that were working in industry, and for them to actually introduce this amazing field to them. So as a GitHub campus expert, that's kind of my role. It's more of promoting an existing community and building that local node for that community to exist within my university. And it's really, really been great. It's been a great opportunity to just bring all these amazingly talented students together and just show them another view and another field that they might not have heard of yet because it's still growing.
Right. Thank you so much. A question for Sam. Sam, what do you work on as a Qiskit advocate?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I didn't catch that.
Yeah. So what do you work on as a Qiskit advocate?
So let me repeat the question. What do I work on as a Qiskit advocate? Is that correct?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So the Qiskit Advocates program is a community program. So you, from what I've experienced, you don't necessarily work on projects or things, but it's kind of like a community club where once you demonstrate some ability or some competency in quantum computation using Qiskit, you then have access to a wide variety of opportunities from Qiskit and IBM Quantum, ranging from things like access to Qiskit hackathons or projects with community members and with actual researchers working on real world projects that make a difference in Qiskit programming every day. So there's a wide variety of things that you can get access to as a Qiskit advocate member. And to become a Qiskit advocate member, you would need to make a certain number of contributions, demonstrate your competency, not just as a technical developer, but also as an active community member who advocates for quantum computing and shares their knowledge and passion along with everyone else. I hope that answers your question in some capacity.
Yes, you answered it. Thank you so much. Question for all three of you. How do you balance your time between your obligations as a student and work commitment? So we can start with Leah.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. That's a good question. I do have to think about it because I think for me as a life as a PhD student varies so much because it may depend on what I'm currently working on, but I may switch different projects or just different research questions, just kind of just what I'm curious to learn about, but also what I think is interesting or just trying many things. So it may depend, at least I think for PhDs, one big factor would be whether you're working on experiment or theory. In my case, I'm working on more theoretical aspects. I do have some software, but not much compared to it's just math, even though math is not my background. But I do have research collaborations with experimentalists, so people who are building quantum computers as opposed to working on some theory for them, and or software or different things. So I would say that because I'm working part-time, so for example, for my visa, I have to work this many hours a week maximum, but in addition, the work contract says how many hours I'm working a week. So if I roughly count these hours, then I get a good idea. And what's really important is communication with your manager, because you're both a student and working part-time, then you have different responsibilities on both sides, and just communication on both sides can make it go quite smoothly if both sides are quite understanding. Sometimes you have something that's kind of mandatory as a student you have to go to, versus sometimes there's more urgent things on the company side. And so I just kind of on a day-to-day basis maybe look at that. It also helps if I set like these days or these blocks of time for whatever I'm working on in advance, just have an idea so that I'm not just like dashing around as much. So I think I've figured it out quite well.
Right. Thank you so much. And Maria, same question?
Yeah, so I think the funny answer to this is coffee, but the more realistic answer is probably very similar to Leah's. So once you've actually started to get your foot within the community and to start understanding what types of projects you want to work on, there's a lot of opportunities to work part-time or to have flexible working. So the times in which I've had full-time positions have been during times in which I wasn't studying full-time. So for example, during that year that I mentioned, that was a part of my degree, I was able to work full-time, or during the summers, I'm able to work full-time. So then the issue doesn't really exist in those moments. But whilst I'm actually studying for the degree and just being a full-time student, I think that I can attest that most of my work has been mostly in either a consulting manner or a very limited type of work, in which maybe it's 10 hours a week for a month or for 2 for a very specific and concrete project for a small company. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for students to have those types of that type of part-time work, especially in quantum software, because obviously that's much easier to do because you can just log into your computer and connect to the quantum computer or connect to the server that the company is working in. And that's very easy to just say, I have 10 hours available of my time every week and I will work on this project until it's completed. But I would say that finding those types of jobs, once you actually started getting that experience, when you actually can attest that you have that open source experience and you know how to solve these problems, hasn't been the biggest issue. The biggest issue is actually beginning to get the experience and beginning to get the knowledge. That I think is the biggest gap or the biggest issue for students at the moment. But once you've got an insight, finding part-time work for small companies or for startups is often easier than not.
Cool. Sam, your view on this topic?
I feel like Leah and Maria covered everything. So I recently started my current part-time, and that's exactly what I've been doing, just trying to figure out what limited hours or like a set day works best for me. And the rest of the time, because I'm still working on my project, on my thesis. So it's important to like segregate your work time and your university commitments. And yeah, that's everything they said. Just covers everything. So I have nothing else to add.
Okay, cool. So can you please tell me how important are hackathons, conferences, meetups, networking during student days? Can you go ahead, Leah?
Yeah. Let's see. So it's super important. I've met. I think all of us met online. I mean, yeah. Even though Raj and I are like in the same city of Oxford, but Raj reached out to me via LinkedIn. So wow, I think it's really important. Actually, Sam would be the best person to talk about this because he's organized multiple game jams before. So it's like a hackathon with more chill, and you make quantum-related games for these quantum game jams. So yeah, so this is the kind of stuff that, for example, Qiskit Advocates might do, or a lot of other communities around. So Sam and I run a Discord server. Just anyone can join. It's just we're posting announcements and like for some online meetups and things, and more of an informal way to get to know people in quantum, find people with similar interests, ask questions. There's no stupid questions and these kind of, yeah, it's pretty cool. Mainly our friend Alberto actually ran a Spanish language hackathon twice now, and I think we're thinking about the third year. I'm not sure. Yeah. So this is the past 2 falls, just an online only hackathon co-organized with Qiskit Fall Fest, but it was really cool to just run a hackathon ourselves. And being Spanish language, there was just so much people we could bring. There was a lot we could like have to bring people together, from teaching workshops, a whole week of workshops before the hackathon in both Spanish and English. So I think that it's a really good idea to get involved and try out a few events. Not only are they fun and you'll just meet people and learn really interesting things, but also it's a good way to gain experience, since especially early on as a student, it may be harder to find more like before there's many stepping stones until getting, I think, your first internship, or at least probably across the spectrum. So I think that it's a really good idea to just look around and meet people online.
Thank you for your opinion, Sam.
And in person, yes.
Yeah. Cool. Sam, same question, please.
Yeah. I feel the same way. So I one of the points I would quickly highlight is how a lot of the hackathons that give students the opportunity to organize or co-organize, or just giving more freedom to the community members to design the kind of hackathons and or game jams or events in the quantum space. The more opportunity and freedom that they have to do so, the more well-designed ideas come out of it. Just because like there's a lot more input, and there's a lot more creative ideas, and everyone is being heard at some level. So everyone has a chance to contribute and to share some really, really cool ideas, and it also gives communities that normally wouldn't have had the chance to learn about something like quantum computing, something like this kind of an emerging field. It gives them the opportunity to at least interact with it, even if they don't choose to make a career out of it in the future. Things like localization of resources, like for example in the Mexico hackathon, translating them to Spanish, the talks, the resources, the code base, all of that really helps, especially beginners, but also people who are familiar with the source material, to just enjoy collectively. So I feel like that's one of the really nice aspects about it, and I feel like quantum is in a great space because this is one of the few fields where you can actually get opportunities by just having fun and just learning about the field. You don't really have to be really serious about it or take like pay for a lot of programs, but you can just have fun online and really just enjoy the space. And like Leah said, there's a lot of stepping stones, but just by participating and by being there and just being open to learning, really helps to getting your first and future opportunities in this space.
Right.
Do you mind if I correct myself for a second?
Sure.
I just want to say I realized that stepping stones is like a terrible analogy because it's not like a path. It's just like that was a horrible analogy. That's all I'm saying. Sorry.
Right. No worries. Maria, please, same question.
Yeah, so I think I absolutely agree with everything that was done. Maybe more from the perspective of a participant than an organizer. I've seen that just utilizing social media, so maybe joining all the Discord servers that you find available or following the right people on LinkedIn will open so many paths that you might not expect in this field because it's so new. Thanks to just following certain people on LinkedIn or just being in Discord servers, I've been able to participate in online hackathons that have taught me about the importance of quantum hardware that respects the environment, and how can we make quantum computers respect the environment and contribute to protecting the environment, or have taught me about quantum error correction and the opportunities I had in quantum error correction, and how this specific program would let me work in quantum error correction for the summer, which I did, and then I learned about that. Or just I also had the opportunity to join this event that was done by the IBM Zurich labs in person. So I was able to actually travel to Zurich just because I was following the right people and in the right group chats. And all these group chats and all these people, they're publicly available. You can just find them. You can just look it up. And you will find so many amazing communities in which you can make friends and meet so many talented people that are either already experts or are going to be experts in 5 years' time. So they are the right people to connect to. They're the right people to talk to. It is so open, so available. The best way to get into the field really is by just doing that, by just participating in hackathons, participating in these types of meetings, seeing conferences, and just looking everybody up and sending them an email or a message, because they will respond to you. Everybody's incredibly nice. You should just do it.
Great. Thank you so much, Maria. Question for all three of you. So you all have a volunteering experience. What did you learn during your volunteering days? Yeah, please.
Did you say Leah or Maria? Okay. Right.
So what did you learn during your volunteering days? Yeah.
I'm not sure, because I wasn't, although I wasn't volunteering necessarily to learn, but I've learned so much along the way. It's really hard to put into words, because I think it's like it's not like a single message or moral or tidbits, but it's like just across the spectrum. Like, for example, like I met Sam and a bunch of people during 2020's Kids Get Global Summer School, just online. This was not volunteering, but I meant like volunteering your time to take a free course, as it was for 2 weeks. But then that was a summer after COVID, so that was a time when we were all like indoors and not much, you can't go outside really, and that was a hard time. But it was really cool to meet people from around the world. There was over 2,000 people in this 2-week course that that was really cool. And I've kept in touch. I never had any like just online only friends friends I'd only met online and possibly never met in person before, until COVID started. And I think that's really changed how the space is. And I think it's a really good thing. Like, I think there's lots of, I already posted about like open source quantum software, about like lots of things. It's really interconnected around the world, I think.
Cool. Sam?
I started learning about this field through volunteering, just because there were no opportunities at all when I started. So I first found out about quantum as an undergrad, but there was no one to talk to about it. So just creating like meetups and spaces and volunteering and inviting people to just talk about how quantum computing works and what different kinds of softwares are there, and just discussing if there's any projects we could have all as students was a great way to just get started when you know nothing at all. And that's how I actually first found out about it, and that's how I first learned about quantum. So that I really enjoy the volunteering aspect of it, and I encourage as many community members to just be receptive and be open to sharing openly, even if it's like really dumb ideas. You might be hesitant at first, but everyone's learning together. So just don't worry about it. If there's something that you find interesting, just ask people, and everyone's super nice, like Maria pointed out. Yeah, everyone's really enthusiastic if you approach them genuinely, and they would be very happy to help you out.
Cool. Thank you so much, Maria. Same question for you, please.
Yeah, so I've very recently actually started volunteering and helping organize events, mostly at a local level, because obviously I'm still quite new to the field, and I'm very excited to contribute, but I want to make sure that the actual experts are always showcased and the actual, not to say proper, but the people who know what they're doing are always leading these types of things, because there's also a lot of hype around this very highly technical field. So we want to make sure, or at least I want to make sure, that every single time that an undergraduate or a master's level student gets shown the field, they actually understand that this is a very interesting field that is led by scientists and that is led by researchers and is led by computer scientists. It's not just three people in a room coding things that they don't really understand. It's this very complex and very big active path of research that is going to change a lot of things. So my most recent experience was this hackathon I mentioned before, and I think that organizing these types of events has been absolutely great. It really is a very new experience for students, and it really shows it gives you a lot of skills that you didn't necessarily thought you needed in this type of thing. So it tells you how to manage communication with different people in different time zones. It tells you how you need to organize a space for the students to actually be able to hack in. You have to deal with all the technical issues that might occur, all the other types of issues that might happen within these types of hackathons. So I think it's a very, very good opportunity and a very fun way of actually learning more and contributing to the field. But it probably isn't the first place to go. The first place to go is probably to participate in these events, learn about them, participate, and then start organizing these amazing things and give back these types of opportunities to the community.
Cool. Thank you all. And one last quick question. Besides formal degree education, how important are certifications for getting a job in quantum industry?
Well, I don't think that it's very important. There are existing certifications, and depending on what you're applying for, then specific certifications may be something that could help for very specific roles. But across the board, it's not really. A lot of these certifications and standards and all these things are still being figured out and developed because quantum is so new. So maybe one that I should mention would be like the IBM Qiskit software developer certification. So that's like an exam you can take. Sometimes they offer it for free that you could take, and that would just test some basic knowledge of Qiskit. And so that's an example. Say like in software, maybe it's more common to have certifications, but for other things like engineering or other, I think that it's not so much a specific certification, but maybe just the broad collection of all your past experiences, and quantum just being like a very intricate mesh of like different people with different skills, and no one has all the skills.
Right. Thank you so much. And quickly, Maria.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with Leah. I think that unfortunately, formal education has a big weight. So a lot of people who work in this field are doctors and experts in their specific research, and then their skills get transposed into what they actually are doing in the quantum field. But it's more about what you can showcase and what you can bring to the table than the little diploma that you can get. So yeah, I would agree with that.
Thank you. And finally, Sam.
Again, I think all the main points have been covered already. So there's not much for me to add, but yeah, I wish everyone all the best. To everyone who's listening this, please feel free to reach out for more questions if you have.
Perfect. So thank you so much, Leah. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, everybody. Do we have time for questions from audience?
Oh, Nancy, you're muted.
I always mute myself just to be careful. But thank you. It has been an amazing panel. I think you've given a lot of great information in. Leah, thank you so much for posting so many resources, and we're going to try to pick those up and make sure maybe we can do some social media posts and make sure we make these resources available. This sounds so cool, like the game jams. I missed what that was called at first, and the hackathons and the Discord server. So I think this is really exciting. I know, got a lot of people online with us, and a lot of people watch this afterwards. So I think these resources and your enthusiasm for quantum is going to really encourage and involve a lot of people. And great to know that there's Spanish language opportunities. I think that's exciting as well, as we work in many different cultures and around the globe. So this has been terrific. What an amazing panel you've been today. I want to thank each of you for your time and sharing your experiences and all of your resources. I also want to thank the IEEE Communication Society for sponsoring this. They do have lots of great conferences. I put their website in there, and they're going to have a booth during this event. So if you want to go over there and pop over and visit them, like I said, lots of great opportunities to travel, go to their events, see their conferences, and some other things. So our next up is going to be our Advancing Emerging Technologies to Address the Sustainable Development Challenges. So we're going to have a lot of our humanitarian activities group, our new humanitarian activities board, up in just a few minutes on our next upcoming session. So we want to make sure you go and join that. And I want to thank you for being with IEEE-HKN today. As the IEEE Honor Society, this conference and all the other things that we do really are a great opportunity to build this community like you all are talking about, and to share the expertise and to inspire and engage each other in really meaningful ways so that we can really advance the science, advance our careers, and really advance our profession. So thanks so much to this panel. Thanks for joining us at TechX, and want to wish, resources for old people. Oh my gosh, Catherine. I think quantum has no age, right?
I have to agree.
Quantum has no age, which is great. It transcends age. So, but again, thanks everyone for joining us. Thank you to this amazing panel, and we'll see you around TechX. And thanks for being with us today.